Welcome back to the Rhody Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Connor Lewis, and today I'm sitting down with the wonderful Jonas Brobeck, head women's tennis coach at URI. Coach, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Jonas Brobeck. I'm the women's tennis coach here at URI. Connor, thank you for having me.
Again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here. I really appreciate it. Let's just jump right in.
All right.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
That's great. NIL is a hot term in college sports. What's your relationship with it? Has it affected your team? Do you think it will eventually? Give me all the details.
Yeah, great question. I mean, yeah, it's such a buzzword right now, right, in college sports, and it's huge for us. Tennis falls under the Olympic sports, so not really a revenue sport. So it's a little bit different there. Of course, it has affected. I think us at a mid-major level, it's not as prominent yet.
Okay.
I have colleagues in other schools, Power 4 schools, that where it's more of a thing. But it's not going away. We need to deal with it, work with it, and we need to educate our student athletes about it as well.
Yeah.
And I think, NIL obviously has led to some of the things. We don't have to get ahead of ourselves, with this NCAA settlement, and that's ultimately going to have effect on us as well. Maybe with roster spots and that type of stuff.
Have you started talking to your players about it a little bit and introducing that idea yet, or not really? It hasn't come up.
Maybe a little bit. I think it's more prominent maybe in future recruits when you speak to recruits for fall 25 or 26 and that type of stuff. So and I think it's just, it's important. It goes back to what type of culture you want in your program, and we talk a lot in our team about having an open communication. I think it's so important to have that, and it's important to instill that from start with the recruits as well and their families. Because there are the college landscape is changing.
Oh, yeah.
So we need to embrace it, and we can't shy away from it. At the same time, we need to be smart. We don't want to. What's the term? Take the cart before the
don't put the horse before don't put the cart before the horse. Exactly. Yes, 100%.
So, so we just got to educate ourselves about it, and I think we do a really good job with it here at this athletic department and our girls, because if we don't have an open communication about it, it can be scary and can be the unknown can kind of scare us.
Yeah, you don't want them to think that if they find out something about NIL, they're like, oh, I don't want to know this because I feel like maybe I shouldn't know.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Exactly.
So you became head coach, 2 years ago, 2023? Do I have that right?
Yes. Yeah. July or August 2023.
So a year and a half, we'll say, a little bit of a year and a half. Some of the philosophies you brought to URI, what do those include?
Yeah.
You laugh. Why do you laugh?
No, I laugh because I should have thought about some catchy words. And to be honest, I think one of the main things that we have instilled in our team, and ultimately goes back to our student athletes and the team. They've been, from day one when I took the job.
Right.
And Dan, my assistant, who is a fantastic coach as well, when we came on board, the team has, embraced it with open arms, which is ultimately credit. That's one of the most important things, because you can have a coaching staff that comes in with a mission and vision plan and all these rules and structure and all this type of stuff, but if you don't connect with your team from the start and build that trust,
right, and
have them have it 100% buy-in, all those catchy words.
Well, what are the buzzwords you're thinking of?
Well,
I just want to be on the same page as you.
Yeah. No, I think one of our this is not a buzzword, but I think one of the main things has been just the daily work that we need to put in to make ourselves successful.
Yeah.
The structure, the communication, these foundations for how a high functioning team is working. And I truly believe that any team and program as much as it's sometimes hard work, like people like structure, people like hard work, people, because with structure and hard work and open and honest communication, like growth comes, and human beings are thriving in an environment where growth happens. You know? So what I try to say with my first spiel there with the team, they did it. I mean, I'm so proud of them, because the first year when we come on, the success that we had is a testament to them, like buying into what we're trying to change and trying to build. Yeah. And they were 100% committed from day one. So
I think you've succeeded, honestly. I think that might be an understatement to say that you've succeeded at your goal. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but you previously coached at Northwestern. Do I have that right?
Yeah, Northwestern State.
Northwestern State. Okay.
So not in Chicago.
Okay.
So yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to name drop another college, but that's okay. You know, what was it about URI that made you want to come here and take this over? Because totally kind of different areas, different schools, all that.
Yeah, very different. You know, and we actually heading down there now for spring break in a couple of days. Okay. So
am I going? Am I allowed to go now that I got the interview? Am I allowed on the bus?
Yeah, maybe next year. Okay. Maybe next year. Tickets are already booked, so sorry.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, you know, from Louisiana to Rhode Island, like what brought me here? Great question. So I loved it down there in Louisiana. I was there for 2 years as an assistant coach, got my master's degree, you know, which helped me in a lot of ways. And then I was a head coach for 3 years. And then during that time, I met my fiance, and we are getting married now this summer. And thank you. And during that process, you know, long distance from Louisiana to Connecticut can be a little challenging. As much as she loved and embrace Louisiana as well, and our long distance, you know, at some point, you know, we have to get kind of closer to each other. So the URI job opened up, and I thought, oh wow, cool, opportunity to build a great program and a great conference in the A10. Yeah. And I mean, I've always been fascinated by like the whole aspect of building a program from scratch, so to say. At Northwestern State, we had prior success. I'm not saying that it wasn't success here, course, yeah. But I got into a program where a lot of pieces were in place, you know, and I think this was an amazing opportunity and challenge to kind of build a program truly the way I wanted it to be built. You know, so yeah, I was super excited.
Yeah, and again, I think you succeeded at that. You know, we talked a little bit before about recruitment and stuff like that. Yeah. Recruitment's obviously a big thing for college coaches, especially now with transfer portal and NIL and all that. What do you look for in these recruits and these high school athletes that aren't really about skill, but more about like their, I guess, intangibles would be the right word?
Yeah, yeah, that's the buzzword, right?
That's a big buzzword, absolutely. I know you love your buzzwords, so you know, we might as well delve in.
Yeah, I mean, recruiting is the lifeblood of any program. You know, you can be the best coach in the world and be the best relationship builder, but if you don't have the talent pool, it's tough in today's day and age. But yeah, what do I look for? Intangibles. I mean, tennis is such an individual sport. It is. So, you know, these kids, and you know, if you look at our roster, we're from all over the world. And the cool thing with college tennis is, I mean, tennis is arguably one of the most global sports, together probably with soccer. You can play it anywhere in the world. So finding kids, finding student athletes that understand what it takes to be on a team. You know, what does it mean to be a teammate? Like what, you know, like it's not just about you anymore. It's about, you know, you being a part of a program, you upholding certain standards on a daily to kind of enhance the program and push everyone around you and that type of stuff. And then, I mean, I think the coolest thing is doing something you love, playing tennis, competing, and doing that for something bigger than yourself, like competing for a university, for a community, for a state. Mm-hmm. So finding, and that takes time in the recruiting process. That's why recruiting is it takes time, and it's so important because you're building those relationships with the student athletes and figuring out that they have those traits. So yeah, like, good teammates,
Right.
good team players in a sport that is super individual up to this point.
Right.
So that, I think, and then what type of competitors are they? How do they compete? How do they handle success? How do they handle failure? Tennis is also a sport where you do need to have a great mindset towards failure, because Roger Federer said it best in his commencement speak up in Dartmouth. The greatest tennis players, they lose 50% of the points. You need to be able to be okay about losing and learning from it, because how are they dealing with success and how are they dealing with failure? That's three things I look at a lot, and then kind of goes hand in hand with that. Are they coachable? What type of are they? Where are their coachability?
Yeah.
And that goes hand in hand with as well connecting with how we connect during the recruiting process, because you spend so much time together with your student athletes, so you need to see eye to eye on certain things, because otherwise it's going to be tough to truly grow. And both Dan and I are very much about growth and development.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an important aspect of collegiate sports. It's hopefully a 4-year, ideally, exactly.
Well, you hope.
And it's, they're coming into an environment of learning, right?
Yeah.
We as coaches need to kind of model those behavior of growth. They're going to learn. They're going to be a great, student athletes. They're going to be great academians. So they need to learn every day. They need to learn on court. They need to learn from each other in a group. So, yeah. How are they going to deal with development and stuff? So
yeah, because college is a huge adjustment. Not mostly for the student on the student side.
Yeah.
You're adjusting to a totally different type of schooling. I'm a freshman in college, so I can tell you firsthand, it is a whirlwind going from the standard high school 6.5 hour schedule to this.
Yeah.
To college where you might have a 4-hour break in between classes.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah.
For any of the recruits that might be watching right now, and I hope there are. I hope a
Yeah.
lot of people watch this, but you never know. We really hope so. What advice would you give to them? Just one piece of advice. I don't want you to give away the whole table.
Okay.
They got to come here to get all the advice from you.
Okay.
But just one piece of advice you could tell recruits about tennis, about anything.
Okay. One piece of advice. Maybe that would be learn to handle failure.
Yeah.
Because I think it's, again, in tennis, in life, in sports, it's so important.
It is.
And tennis is you need to be good with failure. You need to be able to be brave enough to learn from them, and that's, so yeah, learn to handle failure.
Yeah. Well, we have a little bit of a tradition. At the end of every episode,
okay,
I like to ask whoever interviewing one question or one to tell me a little bit of a fun fact, so we connect with you more. So no tennis for
no tennis,
just something about you personally, maybe something you're watching recently, an artist you love, anything. I'm springing this on you on purpose. I'm sorry.
An artist I love.
Yeah, please. That could work.
I don't know. I've been. Can I go with this, or
go anywhere you want to go
with this question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a fun thing.
I have been reading a lot lately. I think it's going back to modeling the behavioral growth. I try to always learn. I've been reading a lot lately, and I've been watching. I love collegiate sports.
Yeah.
You have to be a college coach. And I've been watching. One of the things I love college basketball.
Oh,
I don't watch pros at all. And
okay.
Growing up in Sweden, we're not big in basketball.
Of course.
But I love college basketball. I've been watching the Vice first couple episodes with Rick Pitino.
Oh yeah, yes.
Red Storm Rising, and I love it. He's been extremely successful.
Yeah.
And it's great to learn. I think it's cool to learn from other coaches, even though it's other sports.
Yeah.
I was blessed and lucky to grow up in a very sports family. My father was a coach. My mom worked in sports as well. She worked in golf. So, like, I think you can learn so much from other sports. And like, yeah, I think he's a great coach. He's tough, but he's a phenomenal leader. And I've been like glued to that show. So
now, is that like the coach you think you've learned most from that's not necessarily in tennis, or is there another coach you have in mind that you've learned a lot from? I'm just bringing this question.
Yeah.
I'm quite curious, honestly.
Yeah. No, probably my biggest mentors has been tennis coaches, not necessarily like college tennis coaches, but just mentors and coaches I grew up with. So yeah, people from coaches that I grew up with back in Sweden. So like I said, I was lucky, like always having great coaches, and I think that's led to why I am doing what I'm doing today. You know, I think we're the environment is so important, you know, and I grew up with a father was a coach, a mother worked in sports, and then I was extremely lucky at when I came over and played college tennis at UNC Ashville, left Sweden, come over, I had two phenomenal coaches there that kind of you know, I loved my time there, and they taught me so much, and that's why I think I ultimately wanted to become a college tennis coach as well.
So you always knew you wanted to be a coach, or was it just because you were kind of raised in that sports world?
Yeah, I didn't always know. It was a little bit. It was funny because my father was a coach. Like I think my coaches when I was growing up, like always like, oh, you're gonna become a coach, you know, like just what's gonna happen. I was like, well, no, you know, I'm gonna
You're gonna go pro.
I'm gonna no.
You didn't think that, really?
No, I think from an early age I understood that I didn't want to go pro and I wasn't good enough, but I wanted to build my own path.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
And I think college tennis that was. It became, I understood during when it was over, and I played at UNC Ashville probably my second or third year, so sophomore, junior year, that I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. You know, I want to coach, but also, you know, because I love the sport, but you're also building a team and you recruit and you kind of, you know, you're kind of like a little entrepreneur in a sense because you're building your own team from the bottom up. So it's, I was fascinated about it, and I such a great time there, and you know, I learned a lot from great coaches. So so that's I think where it kind of came from.
Yeah. Well, Coach Jonas, I think this has been a successful episode. Would you agree? Would you think this is successful?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Connor.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I just want to say I really appreciate, you know, busy schedule. You know, you got a lot of matches coming. Do you want to plug any matches real quick about upcoming matches that the people need to go to?
Yeah, for sure. So Sunday we heading down for our spring break trip down to New Orleans area. We're going to play some Louisiana schools. Really excited. The girls going outside, sunny weather, and it's a great time to kind of, you know, do things outside of tennis as well. So we're going to play a lot of tennis going outside. So that's, you know, one of the most important things. But then connecting as a team, you know, being on the road, having fun. The girls don't have to worry about school so much because it's spring break. Then we're coming back. We have a big road test at GW and George Mason. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And then after that, we're home in April. So yeah, we would love some support. Let's see here. I should know this on top of my head. I want to say Saturday, March 29th.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys know the calendar better than me, but we play Davidson at home.
Okay.
Hopefully, knock on wood, the weather's going to be good here on campus. So we would love all the support. You guys going to see some high level tennis.
Absolutely.
And the A10 this year, it's awesome because I think it's really up for grab. There's a lot of good teams. I would say it's 5, 6, 7 teams that I think can, you know, really, really win it. Yeah. So whoever competes the best and whoever keeps getting better into April and May is going to be the best team. So Davidson at home, 29th. Then we have Fordham, another top team in the A10, home on the Saturday after, so the 8th or 9th.
Yep. And
then we have Senior Day. We have UMass coming into town on the later in April. So 3 huge matches for us, and all on campus. So we would love all the support to come out, and you guys are going to see the girls compete, and we're in a really good place, and I think everyone that come out is going to love what they're seeing.
Well, again, Coach Jonas, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Connor, for doing this.
Yeah, thank you all for listening. I have been your host, Connor Lewis, signing off.